Welcome to the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. I'm Dr. Nikki Cottis.
I'm Dr. Alejandro Elias.
And I'm Dr. Gabrielle Manto. Together, we help wellness practitioners build profitable, scalable businesses without sacrificing their health, their families, or their freedom.
On this podcast, we'll talk profit, leadership, and ownership, so your business works for you, not the other way around.
This is the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. I am Nikki Cottis, and I am one of the support coaches inside the Wealthy Practitioner, and I'm so honored to be one of your hosts for this podcast. And today, I want to share with you guys a story that is a personal story of mine, but that I've recently gone through, and I was like, okay, there's always like a coaching lesson in everything. And this is about me and my husband and my daughter, of course, being on a new home expedition, looking for a new house. And this message is really going to be about clarity. And so not the kind that just shows up all at once. It's more the quiet kind, the kind you really can start to feel inside of your body before your brain even catches up. And it's the kind of clarity that asks you to just really slow down in a world that is constantly telling us to move fast. And so yes, I'm going to talk to you guys about a house on the water, but just stick with me because this story is going to be about way more than real estate. So for the past several years, I have had like on my dream board, on my vision board, that I want a house on the water. And we live in Gulf Shores, Alabama, where we have literally beautiful bodies of water. We have the lagoon, we have the bay, we have the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, whichever one you guys are choosing to use. And it's all very beautiful. It's also a really big tourist town. So there's tons of waterfront property here as well. And I started just casually looking at houses. What could we buy? What could we afford, etc. And of course, I found something that I loved. And we found a house and it was on the water. It was blue and it was white. Go Penn State. And I was like, oh, it's meant to be, right? But it was so pretty. And if you've ever been to a waterfront property, you just know that immediate feeling, right? And it's like, this was less about the house and it was more about that pool. Like, it's beautiful. You feel peaceful. You're just like, wow, this is truly God's creation. And I feel really at peace looking at this body of water. And as we're looking at the house, Hazel starts running towards the water, not like in a scary way, in a way where I was like, dang, my child could grow up like this with this view, with this water right here. And so, of course, I started painting the picture, having coffee on the deck with Jonathan in the mornings, even though I don't really even like to be outside. This is actually crazy. Watching the sunrise, watching the sunset, just watching my kid play, the whole thing. But here's where we decided this actually wasn't the right move for us. This house required us to sell our current home. Now, we bought our home in January 2021. Our interest rate is not even going to tell you guys because it's extremely low. And our house has doubled in home value too. We've also put a lot of work into our house. It's a house that will never outgrow. It's a house that is in one of the nicest neighborhoods in our area. We have an acre of land, yes, in a neighborhood. We have mature oak trees that are literally so nice. We have a pool. We have an outdoor kitchen. We redid our pantry, our laundry room, all of these things, right? We have made this house really something that me and Jonathan both really love. And so to make this waterfront house work, we had to sell our current home. And when the realtor started talking to us about, okay, this is what we could offer on the blue house, and then let's get some pictures of your house, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. I literally felt my body like, ugh, that's actually not what I want to do. And I was like, I don't actually think I want to sell my house. I just wish I could have both. But I cannot have both. I really cannot. And so me and Jonathan started talking about like, okay, what are we actually giving up to make this happen? And that is where we were like, we're giving up a lot for a water view. And so that's where we decided this isn't what we actually wanted to do. A water view would be nice, but our home at the end of the day meant more to us. And so here's where I want to just have a real conversation with you guys, because if you own a business or you're in any type of personal development space, you've heard it before, and I've said it too. Decisions love speed. Move fast. Don't overthink. Done is better than perfect. Momentum matters. And I believe that deep down in my soul and in my gut. I really, really do. There are absolutely times when waiting is just fear dressed up as wisdom. When we use the quote, "I'm still thinking about it," as a way to avoid discomfort of committing. And in those moments, yes, speed is 1000% your friend. You need to make the call, you need to take the step, and most importantly, you need to trust the process. But here is what I have also learned is that not every slow moment is hesitation. Sometimes what looks like waiting is the work. Sometimes the pause is where clarity starts to live. And so the difference is that I could literally feel in my body that this was not the right move, right? I didn't want to sell our house. Neither did Jonathan. Guys, I have literally never been one to trust my intuition. Do y'all remember when somebody stole my identity because I let him move in with me? Ha, joke's on me, right? I have literally never been a good judge of character, and B, followed my intuition well. I'm always just moving so quick, not even thinking twice about things. The difference though is fear. It has a frantic energy to it. It's the like, what if I miss out feeling? I need to decide right now or everything falls apart. But knowing something in your gut just feels different. It's quieter and it doesn't feel like a spiral. It just literally feels like your body is telling you something important is being traded here. And I haven't fully come to terms with that yet. And so that's exactly what I felt when we started talking about listing our home. It wasn't panic. I would say it was a little bit of an anxiety feeling, but it was a very clear, this isn't right. This isn't the next step. And I had to trust that. And so let's just talk a little more about your intuition. And it's not something, this mystical thing that only certain people have access to. We all have intuition, and some of us are better at following it than others. Intuition is truly your accumulated wisdom. It's every experience that you've had. It's every decision that you've ever made. It's every outcome that you have lived through up to this point. All of it is processed and stored in your body, and it's firing at you at real time. And guys, like I mentioned, my intuition used to really suck. So I love thinking of it as accumulated wisdom, because when you're 24, you don't have as much accumulated wisdom as when you're 41. And so when I felt that discomfort in my body, that was years of knowing myself and talking to myself. It was my values speaking up. It was the part of me that knew what actually mattered was louder than the part of me that was being lured by a beautiful water view. And guys, it was really beautiful. But here is the teaching moment. You are allowed to want something and decide that it's it is not the right move. Those two things, they can exist at the same time. I wanted the water view, genuinely, but I wasn't willing to trade what we had built to get it. That is not settling. That is finding clarity. It's knowing your non-negotiables and honoring them, even when something shiny is sitting right in front of you. And guys, I used to be the queen of shiny object syndrome. So this feels really good that I didn't make a shiny object decision. I literally trusted my intuition. And so the more that you practice listening to this signal, the louder and clearer it gets. And so this story's not over, because saying no to the wrong thing is never the end. It's almost always the beginning of something better. So when we stop trying to make that house work, like, okay, what do we have to do? What do we have to save up? Like, whatever. How do we make this work? Me and Jonathan changed our conversation. We were like, realistically, we love our house and we want a water view. So how do we have both? And then we asked, not how do we make this happen, we started asking, what do we actually want? And so again, we wanted the water, we wanted that peace feeling, but we still wanted our house. And so then we realized, well, what if we didn't have to choose? Now, like I said, I couldn't afford to keep my current house and this house we were looking at, but that didn't mean that we also couldn't start looking at different options. And so instead, we started looking at waterfront investment condos. And suddenly, for both me and Jonathan, it clicked. We get to keep the house and we get to have a water view. That decision literally felt so good to both of us that we knew that we were making the right decision. And we're building a financial asset in the process. That is truly not a consolation prize. That is a creative solution that only became visible because we honored the no that was sitting with both of us first. And so this is what you can think of as the clarity pivot. It's when you stop forcing a decision that doesn't actually fit. Your brain stops trying to make one option work and it will start looking for better options. It's like the whole hallway opens up, not just the one door, the one blue house that you were staring at. And here is why I'm sharing this all with you guys today, because hopefully you figured out this really isn't about a house. This is about every decision that you are facing every day inside of your business, inside of your life, your relationships, your finances, the moments where the pressure to move fast, to pick something and to commit, and your body is simply just quietly telling you, not yet. So clarity in the waiting, it doesn't mean that you're stalling. It doesn't mean that you're afraid. It means that you are simply paying attention. It means that you're starting to trust yourself and that the discomfort of not knowing yet is way more valuable than the false relief of a decision that actually does not fit what you want long term. It is this refining time. It's where you get to be honest. It's where the noise dies down and you stop chasing what just looks good and you start recognizing what actually is good. What is good for you, for your life, for where you are actually trying to go. So what I want to leave you with today is the next time you're in a decision and you can feel that quiet contraction, that low-grade signal inside your body that something is just not quite right, don't override it. Just get curious. Ask yourself, what is this telling me? What am I trading? And most importantly, what do I actually want? And give yourself permission to say no to the wrong thing at the wrong time, because that is making space for something better to eventually show up. And yes, guys, decisions do love speed, but sometimes clarity loves the wait. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who is sitting in the middle of a big decision right now. Sometimes the best things that we can do for each other is just remind ourselves that it is okay to wait and it is okay to wait for clarity too. I am Nikki, and this is the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode. You will find us every single week, and we would love for you to follow us on Instagram at Wealthy Practitioners, and also join our free Facebook group. It is The Wealthy Practitioner on Facebook. Thank you all, and we will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. If you want to connect with other practitioners just like you, be sure to join our Facebook group at The Wealthy Practitioner and be sure to follow us on Instagram. See you next week.